Welcome to the Evident Proof demo. My name is Matt Roden. I'm the CTO of Evident. We run these demos twice a week at 10 a.m. London time on a Tuesday and 4 p.m. London time on a Thursday. The purpose of the demo is to give you a brief intro into the Evident Proof system, what it does, what it's used for, and how you can use Evident Proof within your organization or as an individual to store immutable proof of data. So what does Evident Proof do? So we store proof of evidence. What does all that mean? Well, evidence is your data from your line of business systems or ID data or any data that you need to prove the immutability of at a later date, submitted to our platform in the form of what we call evidence. And at a later date, we can provide proof of that evidence for you to use in a court of law, a litigation scenario, an auditing scenario. So essentially, what this does is allow you to say that your data was stored on our platform in the exact format that you said it was, at the exact time you said it was, from the exact place you said it was sent from, and that the data matches exactly what you say it should. And thus you have immutable proof of that data so that it can't be tampered with, it can't be hacked, can't be changed. So let's push on with the demo. And what I'm going to show you is a small demo of the platform that we've put together from the point of view of a line of business application that integrates into the Evident Proof platform. So the Evident Proof platform is accessed programmatically when you want to send data to it, meaning that we provide a RESTful web service that you can send your data to. This allows you to integrate Evident Proof into your applications. The way you get started with Evident Proof is you get an account and then you generate an API key. An API key is effectively your credentials to be able to programmatically push data to your Evident Proof account. So we have a number of real clients today using the system. But one in particular is the largest supplier of government taxi licensing solutions to UK local government. We can't show you their full line of business system, but we can show you a trimmed down representation that we've put together just to show you how it works and how they use Evident Proof. So why would a taxi licensing solutions provider be worried about storing data in an immutable way to be able to show that it wasn't tampered with, it wasn't hacked, it wasn't changed? Well, just earlier this year, there was an article out in The Guardian in the UK which said that 150,000 taxi licenses were issued in the UK last year to drivers with drink driving bans, criminal convictions, you name it, they had it. And this is a situation that becomes really tricky then for local government and for the supplier of the solution. So at this point, they will now need to prove that the correct checks and balances were carried out and show an audit trail to show why that license was issued. So was it fraudulent documentation submitted by the taxi driver, etc. Now, this is particularly hard to do with traditional line of business applications because traditional databases are not secure. They can be hacked, they can be changed, and data can be tampered with. So the only way really to overcome this is to find a solution that can prove data to be immutable, and blockchain is that solution. Now, what Evident Proof does is it takes in your data, converts it to a proof seal, which has all of the data itself and the metadata, such as the who, what, where, why, when of that data, so it converts it to a seal and it stores it on the blockchain. So we have a private blockchain and we use the public Ethereum blockchain, and it stores it in a distributed manner, meaning we can prove that immutability by the very fact it's stored on millions of computers all over the world. So we get distributed consensus to prove that data. So let me go over to this taxi licensing solution now. You can see here, this is something we've put together. And I'm going to create a taxi license. And the purpose of this is then to submit the data through to Evident Proof programmatically on the back end of this application and show you the life cycle of this data within the Evident Proof system. So we're going to put in a license holder name here. Let's try and think of something we haven't done before. Tom Roden. That'll do. We're going to say license active, and we're going to say that there's a criminal record check performed. Now, as you can see, this is a pretty noddy text box, but in fact, on Evident Proof, you can store all manners of data. So attached to this, affirmation that there was a criminal record check performed would be some evidence, such as a document from the police computer, or some programmatic API call to a third-party service that integrates with some kind of police criminal record check system. Driving license number, again, here we would be attaching a scan of the driving license, or some proof that this driving license is valid. And again, identity check, well, we'd integrate to some sort of let's say KYC provider to show that that the identity is indeed valid. Maybe it's a credit check that's been done, and all that data would be attached to this form, and everything like that can be submitted through to the Evident Proof service. So we're going to go ahead and create this taxi license. On the back end of this, the data will be pushed through to Evident Proof, and then we can go and see what happened to it. Let's find my taxi license. Should be down the bottom. There we go. Tom Demoton. And we're going to go into Evident Proof. I'm going to click on Proof Seals. So effectively, this evidence has been pushed to Evident Proof. It's been converted to a proof seal, which we're going to look at in a second. And then it's been stored on the blockchain. So here is my data. Here is the dispatch. What is a dispatch? Well, that is just the API call where this data was pushed to our service. Here is the where. Now this is the format of a local IP address for the purposes of this demo, but actually this could be an internet IP address. This could be a geolocation. Really, this is what proof means to you when it comes to the where. The when is always a timestamp. This is really important for us to prove the immutability of this data. And then we have the evidence itself. So we ask you for a primary service user cross-reference. What is this? Well, it's a key that links back to your source data in your line of business system, or your source database. So this can be a single key, a compound key, it can be a serial number, it can be a person ID. Again, we consult with you on this, but it's really what proof means to you. Then we have a license key here, so you can put in any key. You have a value, so those of you in software development community will recognize the key value format, and the value is a JSON representation of the form data from the taxi license form that was submitted. So this can be a single field, it can be one form, it can be a multiple form workflow, it can be the works of Shakespeare. We really don't care. What we care about is that it all boils down to this seal. So what's important about this seal is that it wraps all of this data, including the metadata, into one seal. This is what's stored on the blockchain, not your source data. And from this data, we can now go and prove that it matches this seal at a later date, and the seal is stored on millions of computers on the blockchain. So now you'll be able to see that we have a receipt. A receipt is returned via the API and onto this user interface once evidence is stored. The receipt can be stored against your source data in your database. So let's say you're storing one particular row or record from your database. Well, you could have, for example, an extra column that stores this receipt ID, and this receipt then says to anyone looking at that database, we have immutable proof of this data using blockchain technology via the Evident Proof service, and here's the pointer that I need to give back to Evident Proof to verify this. So we can now generate a proof certificate. What is a proof certificate? Well, this is the document or the data that you would need in a court of law to be able to prove the immutability of your data. So if I generate a proof certificate here, then we can see that we have a certificate generated. If we go into this certificate, essentially you can see that the data is verified against the source data submitted. Here we have a transaction ID to be able to prove the transaction on the blockchain. We can provide more or less information on this proof certificate. Whichever way you look at it, we can prove beyond doubt that your data was stored immutably on the blockchain network, and we can format this into a PDF, into a report. Again, we consult with you to work out what proof means to you in this situation. And that is the evident proof demo. So join me again if you want to look again on Thursday at 4 p.m. Otherwise, feel free to ask questions on Telegram to myself, Adrian Clark, Ron McCafferty, or any of the evident proof team. Thank you very much.